This is Desire in the Dark on Reaper Four Skulls. And as I always do when I go in after somebody else started it, is just like to double check and make sure the skulls are what I'm actually saying, because sometimes the display on Reaper can be bugged, but this is always right on the experience report. And this is this is a pretty tough quest. In some ways, the drow hitting harder make some of the last two a little tougher than this one, but in other ways, there's some things like the worms in here that are really tough too, and there are some drows in here. So I don't know. It's hard. I guess I'll know after we run it. I've always told Chronovir, and I've kind of had these kind of discussions before, and I always think this is the hardest one and of the chain, and he's always looking at me like cross-eyed, like, what? This is an easy one. So, but I think a lot of it has to do with I didn't get the mechanic of the end fight when I first started running this quest, and had some quick deaths from that. But now that I get the mechanic, that end fight's not too bad. So in the end fight, you just can't. There's a state that the boss goes into, and you can't look at the boss when he's in that state. It's kind of, you just have to turn around. It's very kind of an odd mechanic. Well, not really. I mean, just don't look at the boss when he's in this dangerous state.
You step through the mirror and find yourself in another cave. Stoutheart is nowhere to be seen. A group of dwarf miners.
And I always look at things, I guess, with more of. I'm going to let Chronovir handle this. I always think there has to be some way to avoid fighting in this part, but I don't think that there is. So these gold piles turn into oozes of gold, and chest. Where was Shiley at? Let me get him healed up. Unfortunately, I got, with my epic defensive, my range is pretty weak on the heals. And that's, one of the great things is over time, as I get more powerful, those hit points from epic defenses and from Unyielding Sentinel won't be as important, and I won't need to be on Unyielding Sentinel.
Stoutheart's voice projects from the cave to the north. Such a fascinating.
We're gonna ignore that.
I want to know.
I guess we can't.
You, but
I always want to ignore these, but I forget I can't. They're not very difficult enemies, though, as far as, compared to the drow in the last few quests. That's nothing.
No, of course not. Too much more to lust for. Stoutheart's body shimmers and is replaced with a drow warrior. He flashes a smile and steps into another mirror. You step through the mirror. Suddenly you find yourself standing beneath a dazzling sun, with blue skies soaring overhead and vivid
so we are
green
going
grass
to,
under your feet.
In the heroic version, I just did the fight up there, and we're going to instead fight the Mind Flayer,
You seem to be
which is Chrono's preferred way of doing this quest.
Little village.
Or rescue the Mind Flayer, not fight the Mind Flayer. And a Legendary Reaper, this is probably a lot easier fight than to fight some Drow.
The Mind Flayer tries to rise, but another fit of the Mind Flayer projects a telepathic warning. Danger, come again. More materializes on the future.
Holy Retribution works real good.
The Mind Flayer finally manages to stand and gestures you closer. The Mind Flayer has requested your help to save his associate, a Drow warrior called Silent. The Drow is in danger up on the bridge. The stout voice drifts across the filthy water.
So it's good we did it this way. On the heroic video, I did it the other way where I just fought them up top. And it's a little quicker, but I think in Reaper for level 30, it's also a little harder.
The villagers begin to shimmer and twist. Suddenly, the bridge is filled. The Drow warrior called Sun gives you a respectful nod, then runs off to rejoin his companion. You turn toward the gate, only to find someone very familiar smiling at you from the other side of the barrier. Who am I? Says the shape-changer. His form shimmers and twists. The Drow man has become a strikingly beautiful dark elf woman. So many faces to wear, so many possibilities. I can never decide. Do you like this one? A graceful spider spinning her web. Or perhaps you prefer something more wholesome.
We're looking for a mirror to go through and
I am all
guarded by all these succubus.
And truth be told, I invite you to come meet my real self. There's not much more. Just
look around this corner. Carnage Reaper. Alright, here comes the Carnage Reaper. And somehow we aggravated a lot of succubus there, and that was partially my fault. I tried to peek around the corner thinking I could just see if the mirror was there without actually aggroing the stuff. And that would normally work, but because there's a Carnage Reaper there, Carnage Reapers have an increased sort of sense of enemy detection. So that's what happened there. Alright. I'm going to stick with the party. There's a couple spots along this wall that it can be. There it is. I usually like to make my beeline back here because there's multiple spots it can be. I think 3 total, so there's always a good chance it's in this back area because there's 3 spots it could spawn there. So just from a probability standpoint, if you get to that back wall, you're getting a lot of the checking a lot of the chances. All right, this part I find a little tough. I'm just going to do another. All right. 2 worms coming at us. I like to fight them one at a time, but
I have one more before we meet face to face.
well, I guess we're gonna go get this one first. Or it's gonna come get us, as the case might be. Almost seemed tougher on. Okay, there's one. Oh. See if I can stun it. I don't. Well, apparently it can be assassinated, so that's pretty amazing. I don't think it can be stunned, and I don't think it's evil. But yeah, this is much easier than when I was soloing it because Shiley could just go and assassinate these guys. It's pretty cool, actually. So I thought this might be one of the tougher parts, but because of Assassinate is making it easier. So let me do a Q here and try to find the runes, because that's our main objective, is to find the runes, not to find the worms. And I think they're keystones, not runes. And there's one right there. And there's another one, I think, in the back. Alright, a champion. So let's hope this can be assassinated. Nice. That's all the keystones. Oh, we got one more worm and ammonium. So, you know, a lot of people, there's been a lot of talk about the forum that you know, nobody would play 2-weapon fighting over 2-handed fighting, but then you just watch Shiley assassinate all those worms, right? I mean, it's in the right hands, it's a really good build. And you know, sometimes there's always too much debate over whether a build is better, when in reality a lot of times it's just different. So Assassin's a really good build, but you have to play it right. It's a very squishy build, even compared to what I have as a paladin. But I think if we compared to the death count, Shiley and I would be pretty close, and it might actually be me with more. So he plays a assassin very well. He's also a first lifer.
Stands before you. Know me now, mortal. It's time we were properly introduced.
So 2 parts to this quest. First, we have to hunt down the boss, and second, we have to defeat him. And when we defeat him, that's the part where we can't look at him when he gets into his mode with red eyes. I'm not sure what it's called.
Don't worry, champion. I'm still close by. Explore my little home away from home and come find me.
So once we get the message, okay, there it is. So now he can't look at his eyes. So Chronivir is going to turn around. And as long as he has the aggro, he's just going to keep... All right, he's going to stay turned around and we can attack him here. But we can't look straight at his face. We can look at his back here. Okay, so he briefly turned to me, but... All right, now he's turning on us. We got to turn around. So now Chronivir can attack him.
The Demon Lord's gate fails. You can look upon him once more.
Alright, so now we can just attack. We've still got to watch these circles. I'm going to go to my big mode here, 10,000 points. Taking a lot of damage. Chronivir heal. There's quite a bit of damage when he's aggroed on you. See if he gets my mass lay on hands. Yep, that worked. Almost down. And down.
And his movements begin to slow.
So I think Chronivir was right. Nobody died in this quest. It was pretty easy.
The Demon Lord stands up
And
a
big difference in the perspective is, I think, this quest is maybe a little harder to solo, but easier in a group.
Continues. This battle is heroic, but it's not quite legendary. There's just not.
But we just had a really good party makeup. That end fight's a lot easier with multiple people because, you know, one person could turn around while the others could kind of continue to beat on him. And the worms, you know, we had Chronivir who was able to, or Shiley who was able to assassinate them. That was pretty amazing. So it just made this quest a lot easier. Total Reaper XP, 3,459 Reaper XP, 17 minutes, 46 seconds. I should be pretty close to my next Reaper point. Let's see. And I got it. So looks like I just barely got it. I'm at 327,855 Reaper points. Pretty good for my first life. And that is Desire in the Dark on Reaper Forest Goals.